Hello students, welcome to Sant Tukaram National Model School's YouTube channel. Dear students, we are learning about plants and environment, a lesson from 5th standard science. In this lesson, in first 4 parts of the video, we have learned the different things like what is the importance of the plants for the environment, for humans. Then we also have learned that the plants can be classified into the various categories on the basis of their habitat, the natural environment in which the plants grow. In that we have seen that the plants can be divided into the two main groups, terrestrial plants, aquatic plants. Aquatic plants further, they can be classified into 3 more categories: floating plants, fixed plants, and underwater plants. Now, in last video, we have seen that plants further, or there is one more criteria that we can classify the plants, and that criteria is of their feeding habits. So on this basis, plants can be classified into 3 groups. Those are: number 1 is the autotrophic plants which can make their own food. Second one is the parasitic plants which cannot prepare their own food because of the absence of the chlorophyll. So they get their nutrients and food from the other plants, from the roots of the other plants, as like sandalwood. Now in this part of video, my dear friends, we are going to learn about the third type of the plants on the basis of their food habits, whether they are able to prepare their food or no. On that basis, the third category of the plant is the insectivorous plants which eat small insects, plants which cannot prepare their food, and neither they get their food from the roots of the other plants. So from where do they get their nutrition? So they get their nutrition, or they get their food by digesting small insects. So such plants are called as the insectivorous plants. These insectivorous plants also can be called as the carnivorous plants, carnivores. Okay, so we'll have some basic information about these insectivorous plants in this video. So my dear students, some plants, they trap small insects and digest them. Okay, they attract the insects towards them, and when the insect gets attracted, they trap these insects and digest them. So such plants which trap the small insects and digest them, they are called as the insectivorous plants, and as I said, they are also can be called as the carnivorous plants. So insectivorous plant depend on its host for survival. Okay, so as they get their nutrition from the insects, so they are depending on the insects for their survival. So these insects are host for them. Host means this plant depends on someone. That someone from where they get the food, that is called as the host. As like we are the host for the mosquitoes, because mosquito sucks blood from our body and gets its food. So we humans are the host for the mosquitoes. As like that, insects are host for these insectivorous plants. Some of these plants have no leaves. For example, dodder, which has no leaves, but it has a weak and cylindrical stem which coils around the host, and it traps the insects. Okay, so dodder cannot prepare its own food. Okay, so what it does, it has a cylindrical stem. Now in mathematics you may have learned about the various shapes. So the cylindrical shape about that you know. So these dodder plant, they have the cylindrical stem, and it coils around the host and it forms a sucker. Okay, sucking tube, as like the mosquitoes they have the suckers. So example of it is the dodder plant. Okay, now in this picture you can see a pitcher plant. Pitcher plant is a insectivorous plant. It attracts the insects trap them and digest them. So here you can see a deep sucker is there. So insect gets attracted and they try to sit on them for their food, but once they sit, they are trapped by these plants. So pitcher plant is the example of insectivorous plants. Here, as I said, these daughter cylindrical stem they have, okay, and they coils around, okay. So here you can see them, the daughter plant, which is the insectivorous plant, which coils around the other plants and it traps the insects. Here we have the Venus flytrap, where two folds are there, two equal halves are there. Once the insect gets attracted, it traps it and it gets closed. When it gets closed, the insect traps inside it, and after some time, they digest them. How much time these insectivorous plants require to digest the insect? It almost takes 4 hours of time to digest them. So this was about the insectivorous plants. So in this way, we have seen the classification of the plants on the basis of the food habits, and they can be classified into 3 groups: plants which can prepare their own food, heterotrophic plants, plants which cannot prepare their own food, get their food from the roots of the other plants, parasitic plants, and plants which neither they create or neither they prepare their own food nor they get their food from the other plants. Instead of that, they get their food nutrition from the insects. So those are called as the insectivorous plants. So here we will stop. Thank you so much. God bless you.